Well, if he is to come, answered Haoxing, it will devolve upon you, worthy dame, to lead him along with you, for were you by and by to let him penetrate inside all alone and knock recklessly about, why, it won't do at all. Have I got all that leisure, retorted Nurse Li, to trudge along with him? I'll simply tell him to come, and later on I can dispatch a young servant girl or some old woman to bring him in and have done. Saying this, she continued her way leaning on her staff. After listening to her rejoinder, Haoxing stood still, and plunging in abstraction, she did not go and fetch the pencil. But presently she caught sight of a servant girl running that way. Espying Haoxing lingering in that spot, "Sister Heng," she cried, "what are you doing in here?" Haoxing raised her head and recognized a young waiting maid called Tuir. "Where are you off to?" Haoxing asked. "I've been told to bring in Master Secundus, Mr. Yun." Tuir replied, after which answer she there and then departed with all speed. Haoxing reached, meanwhile, the Fengyao Bridge. As soon as she approached the gateway, she perceived Tuir coming along with Chai Yun from the opposite direction. While advancing, Chai Yun ogled Haoxing, and Haoxing, too, though pretending to be addressing herself to Tuir, cast a glance at Chai Yun, and their four eyes, as luck would have it, met. Haoxing involuntarily blushed all over, and turning herself round, she walked off towards the Hangwu court. But we will leave her there without further remarks. During this time, Chai Yun followed Tuir by a circuitous way into the Aiheng court. Tuir entered first and made the necessary announcement. Then, subsequently, she ushered in Chai Yun. When Chai Yun scrutinized the surroundings, he perceived here and there in the court a few blocks of rockery, among which were planted banana trees. On the opposite side were two storks preening their feathers under the fir trees. Under the covered passage were suspended in a row cages of every description, containing all sorts of fairy-like rare birds. In the upper part were 5 diminutive anterooms, uniformly carved with unique designs, and above the framework of the door was hung a tablet with the inscription in 4 huge characters: I Hung, Kwai Lu, the happy red and joyful green. I thought it was strange that it should be called the Aiheng court, but are these in fact the 4 characters inscribed on the tablet? But while he was communing within himself, he heard someone laugh and then exclaim from the inner side of the gauze window, "Come in at once! How is it that I've forgotten you these 2 or 3 months?" As soon as Chai Yun recognized Bao Yu's voice, he entered the room with hurried step. On raising his head, his eye was attracted by the brilliant splendor emitted by gold and jade and by the dazzling luster of the elegant arrangements. He failed to detect where Bao Yu was ensconced. The moment he turned his head around, he espied on the left side a large cheval glass, behind which appeared to view, standing side by side, 2 servant girls of 15 or 16 years of age. "Master Secundus, please take a seat in the inner room," they ventured. Chai Yun could not even muster courage to look at them straight in the face, but promptly assenting, he walked into a green gauze mosquito house, where he saw a small lacquered bed hung with curtains of a deep red color, with clusters of flowers embroidered in gold. Bao Yu, wearing a house dress and slipshod shoes, was reclining on the bed, a book in hand. The moment he perceived Chai Yun walk in, he discarded his book and forthwith smiled and raised himself up. Chai Yun hurriedly pressed forward and paid his salutation. Bao Yu then offered him a seat, but he simply chose a chair in the lower part of the apartment. "Ever since the moon in which I came across you and told you to come into the library, I've had, who would have thought it, endless things to continuously attend to, so that I forgot about you." "It's I indeed who lacked good fortune," rejoined Cha-yun with a laugh. "Particularly so as it again happened that you, uncle, fell ill. But are you quite right once more?" "All right," answered Bao Yu. "I heard that you've been put to much trouble and inconvenience on a good number of days." "Had I had any trouble to bear, it would have been my duty to bear it. But your complete recovery, uncle, is really a blessing to our whole family." As he spoke, he discerned a couple of servant maids come to help him to a cup of tea. But while conversing with Bao Yu, Cha-yun was intent on scrutinizing the girl with slim figure and oval face, and clad in a silvery red jacket, a blue satin vest, and a white silk petticoat with narrow pleats. At the time of Bao Yu's illness, Cha-yun had spent a couple of days in the inner apartments, so that he remembered half of the inmates of note. And the moment he set eyes on this servant girl, he knew that it was Hee-sing, and that she was in Bao Yu's rooms on a different standing to the rest. So now that she brought the tea in herself, and that Bao Yu was besides sitting by, he rose to his feet with alacrity, and put on a smile. "Sister, how is it that you're pouring tea for me? I came here to pay uncle a visit. What's more, I'm no stranger, so let me pour it with my own hands." "Just you sit down and finish," Bao Yu interposed. "Will you also behave in this fashion with servant girls?"